This is Big Island Video News on Naleo o Hawaii Television. I'm Sherry Bracken. On Tuesday, the $1.4 billion 30-meter telescope will break ground near the summit of Mauna Kea. The traditional blessing ceremony will be broadcast live over the internet. The webcast will begin at 11:15 a.m. on tmt.org/buildingtmt. Web viewing is being encouraged because officials say access to the TMT construction site will be limited due to the area's sensitive environment and harsh physical conditions. Of course, the idea that access to the summit may be restricted is not sitting well with some, mostly opponents of the TMT project. They say a restriction would violate the U.S. and state constitutional rights. It's the latest volley in a long-running disagreement over astronomy on the mountain, usually with developers and academia on one side, environmentalists and Hawaiian practitioners on the other. The debate is summarized today in a special feature on Big Island Video News, a chronicle of the TMT's long approval process starting in 2008.
Tonight this is a scoping meeting. That purpose is to get your ideas, your issues, your comments regarding the proposed 30-meter telescope.
The TMT is going to be the most advanced and the most capable telescope ever built when it is built.
And the first thing people usually want to know is, who are you? It's a nonprofit. For those that know what it means, it's a 501c3. The partners are the University of California, the whole system. You've probably heard of UCLA and Berkeley, and there are a lot of others. The California Institute of Technology, or Caltech, and an association of Canadian universities. There are no military partners. There are no military ties. There are no military applications. So this is a science project. The proposing agency for this environmental impact statement is the University of Hawaii.
I think we can all learn something from each other. Welcome to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have no aloha whatsoever for those who want to support this big forest up on top of the mountain.
What's in it for me? I'm not getting nothing out of this. Okay? I know it's a good project for all the guys who need jobs and education. I haven't received nothing from you folks in the past. Okay? I haven't benefited anything from the mountain.
That one day the boat not gonna come. I mean, that's how it is. And we don't have oil here, we don't have phosphorus, we don't have fertilizer, we don't have mines. The only way we're gonna get out of this is education, really. And it's not about us. It's about what can we give the future generation to defend themselves. Because us, the older guys, all we need is a bunch of canned goods for a little while.
As myself, as a young native Hawaiian man that needs to make a living for his family. So how can I put this? I believe that the TMT project will create not only short-term, but long-term economic stability for our people.
I wholeheartedly support the 30-meter telescope because I believe it's going to bring a wealth of good-paying jobs with benefits like health care and pour millions of dollars into the local economy over several decades. No one is going to set up a manufacturing plant way out here in the middle of the Pacific, and so that leaves us with high-tech industries like diversified agriculture and astronomy and the biotech and marine sciences.
I know that this is a very important work and that it has many benefits to mankind, but would they be less beneficial if this project were done in Chile? In Chile, they are waiting with open arms and ready to go.
This is the golden age of astronomy. And sometime in the next 20 or 30 years, there's going to be a big headline in the newspaper that says, hey, Earth-like planet discovered, something happens. And do we really want that to read, great discovery in Chile? Here's the deal. We can be part of this. It's like it's us. It's up to us. We can do this thing.
I have in my hand here the NASA EIS having to do with the Keck outriggers. It's really important that people know this because it seems to be It seems that we always have this, we're doing this again and again and again. This is not something that is new that's come up. This environmental impact that's going to go on in Mauna Kea is well documented. It's in the federal EIS, and it should be incorporated in this testimony, because they keep on trying to make a separation like this is a new plan. This has never been talked about before. And it's very, very well documented. I want to talk about rape, okay? Because this is what's happening on Mauna Kea. This is a rape. Now, you can already see what's on Mauna Kea from here every single day. It's in our face every single day. And so, what I really oppose is the use of community input to violate my religious rights. Now, this has been well established, it's been well documented, what I'm talking about, and if we need to argue this further, then I guess we have to keep arguing.
Later, we have to remove it. And the person who's probably going to address that is Mike Bolte. Mike is also an astronomer. He's on the TMT board and can speak a little bit more with authority on that.
The question is whether that requires us to have a federal environmental impact statement, a NEPA, triggered environmental impact statement, or the state. And it turns out the way this works is the federal government, the federal agencies, they make that decision. We don't.
Right.
And what triggers NEPA is a significant federal action. And in this case, we went to the NSF and said, well, this counts. We're taking money for development. This is basically technology development for ELTs, extremely large telescopes, the next generation telescopes. And we talked to the people at the NSF, and they said, no, absolutely not. We are not committing to your project. This is not a major federal act, so we will not sponsor a federal EIS. So it's as simple as that.
Right. And you don't get to choose. A federal agency does, makes the decision.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I don't want to see astronomy and a telescope be available only to the University of Hawaii. I want it to be available to all of our children, that we take science and mathematics and astronomy and engineering and technology and robotics and we make it available to our children, that they grow up educated, proficient, confident.
I care about what happens on Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is a very sacred place to our family and to the rest of the Hawaiian community. It's very sacred. But I also support the TMT telescope. And as labor organizations, you know, we need the jobs. We're facing hard economic times at this current time, and we support this. And there can be a balance between the Hawaiian culture and science. It can be done. And that's why we stand in support of this project.
You know, you're forcing the people into a three-front form of litigation. Because when you call these hearings, when you call these meetings, you set the timing of the law. So this will be litigated. The management plan that the university put forward, the half-baked plan, will be litigated and is in the process of being decided upon at this time. This document relies on all of these documents that are false, including the master plan. The astronomy precinct doesn't exist. These things you need to tell the public the truth. It's not okay to continue to mislead and manipulate facts and play numbers games and semantics on the backs of the Hawaiian people for their temple.
The EIS struck me as more PR than environmental impact study, containing more political spin than rational scientific analysis, a document that understates the impacts and overstates the ability to mitigate them.
The club's concern was the urbanization and industrialization of the summit. And unfortunately, their worst fears have materialized. And now we see a telescope that wants to expand out into the suburbs.
We insist there be a federal environmental impact statement for this TMT, the world's largest telescope, larger than a football stadium.
And then you go on to say that you're going to meld science and education with culture and sustainability. Did you ask me if you could do that to my culture?
The more you fuck over the people, the more people will get nuha, and the more people will put out a stronger fight. So anyway, you've been given fair warning.
So these aren't little matters here. These go to the core of the issue of respect and how you treat the community. The preferential treatment, the lack of recording the public statements. And that shows that the field is not a level playing field. All this thing should be shut down. Nothing going forward. And cumulative impact should go back to the 116 years illegal overthrow and continuing military occupation of Hawaii. And as has been said tonight, the Kingdom of Hawaii is the owner. Nobody else has any claims at Mauna Kea.
Today I'm here to present to the Mauna Kea Management Board the 30-meter telescope project for your consideration in determining whether to recommend a approval to this project to the Chancellor of the University of Hawaii at Hilo. OMKM's recommendation to the Mauna Kea Management Board is that you approve this project based on the following. We believe that the TMT has adhered to the master plan design guidelines. It has incorporated design review group and Mauna Kea Management Board suggestions. It minimizes site disturbance by orienting the long axis of their facility with the contours of the existing site. It utilizes existing roads and infrastructure. And it attempts to reduce visibility through the dome design as well as color and site location. It avoids archaeological sites, and as they have stated that there will be a 200-foot buffer radius around each archaeological site that it may encounter. The impact of the vacuum bug habitat is limited. They have done a thorough review of the impacts and the numerous mitigation and contains numerous mitigation measures. The environmental impact statement incorporates the CMP and its subplans. TMT is committed to carrying out the decommissioning process, and it is anticipated that substantial rent payment will be put to use of mountain management. This is the first for any observatory on the mountain.
Kaukumana stands against any construction projects that bring substantive impact to the summit of Mauna Kea. As such, we have strong reservations about the TMT project being planned for the North Plateau. After considerable deliberations, we find that our reservations are not sufficient to stand against the project. And we are in agreement, and let me repeat that so that it's clear. After Kaukumana made deliberate, considerable deliberations, we find that our reservations are not sufficient to stand against the project.
Astronomical use on the top of Mauna Kea has led to an increased understanding of the sacred nature of that mountain and the need for the university to be careful, responsible, and sensitive in its management of the lands that it oversees there.
TMT heard that they had to do things different, they had to do things right, they had to be pono, that they had to malama Mauna Kea.
I feel that the lease negotiations between TMT and the University of Hawaii will be an open and transparent process.
Our ancestors were masters who were ahead of their time when it came to using stars for navigational purposes. To me, today, TMT is a modern-day opportunity that could provide our mo'opuna the ability to carry on the traditions which started many centuries ago.
The kupuna around each district all did not have a problem with the telescopes, but their concern was for the future of their mo'opunas.
We're going to look at the stars. My ancestors came from far, far away. Far away, just with their naked eyes. And they found this. They found this dirt. They found this rock. You want to do anything positive? Go back to the dirt. Stop planting.
This telescope is not the largest, it's redundant, and it's unfunded.
if there were funding, it would not be compliant with NEPA regulations. That's the requirement that a federal EIS be conducted.
TMT's sublease payments wouldn't go to any fund, but to UH, giving UH reason to protect TMT, not Mauna Kea.
I was always curious as to whether you, Mr. Lemo, simply didn't understand the planning and management issues and responsibilities to which you had been assigned, or whether undue pressure was put on you by IFA Director Donald Hall or other UH officials, or by your own DLNR superiors, including land board members, influential land board members. But there's still time for DLNR to change course and do the right thing.
We take nothing for granted. The hearing officer's report was very positive, and we agree with it. And he said we should have a permit, and we're looking forward to that.
TMT helps community.
Today's the big day. We have a lot of support, aren't you? Isn't this great? We've got unions, we've got chamber. I see people from the university. I see just regular community people. I see all kinds of people here.
We can't give up our sacred lands anymore, not even for temporary jobs, and we understand that, but we have to find them better jobs, jobs that their children will be proud of. We cannot destroy our sacred mountaintop. It's just no, a'ole pono, it's not pono, and we're here standing on behalf of the Mauna, not standing against anyone, standing firm for our sacred places, and it's about time.
I think this is great. The best part of it is we got a lot of young people out. That's great because they need to come out, they need to learn the issues, they need to learn how to be Hawaiian.
The land board will vote. If they vote to give us a permit, there are some things we have to take care of. Yes, we have to take our final plans to them, and we would have to get county grading permits, but yes, we know what happens from then on in order to get to construction, yes. And don't forget that when our construction starts, the $1 million a year to the community for the Think Fund starts. That could be a little over a year from now. We're working with the Hawaii Community Foundation and with Keali'i Pauai Foundation to set that up so that we're ready to go.
The university and the BLNR both acknowledge, and it's undisputed, that the TMT will in fact have adverse and significant impact. The rules that BLNR is supposed to follow require that no project allowed or be permitted that has adverse or significant impact. The BLNR must say no. Unfortunately, they said yes.
When we got that approval, that permit, what they said was, you can't start construction. This is all pending a contested case hearing. And so that's happened now. The contested case hearing has happened, and so we're ready to go.
And it's a new tactic of the university to just have them approve it, but that means we're forced then to not have a BLNR with an open mind hearing all the evidence, but a BLNR that's got a closed mind that's just hearing the evidence as a matter of discourse. See, they already approved the permit, and we're now in a place where we now need to change their mind, which is a due process violation.
They're having the meeting over here, the final meeting on the 30-meter telescope. That thing should have moved already before this time. Don't believe all this stuff you see in the paper about the witch hunts that are out there. And many of them say they represent the community. Well, I don't know what community they're talking about. The community that is represented here today and the work that's being done is the one of the people who actually work for a living.
It's going into an appeal at the Third Circuit Court. And we know it's political, there's a lot of politics with it. We know there's a lot of business pushing it. And we know there's a lot of people from outside Hawaii pushing it. There's a lot of money from outside Hawaii pushing this project. It's over 18 stories tall. We don't even have a building on this island 18 stories tall. We don't even have a building on Kauai 18 stories tall or on Maui. How can you say that's not an impact? It's over 18 stories. We have a law in this county of Hawaii that only allows certain buildings in the commercial and resort area in Hilo at 12 stories. The rest of the island, you cannot build that tall. How can the BNR allow that to happen on the Mauna? There's something wrong. Just to put perspective how big it is. So I'll give you a reference. We all know what the state capitol looks like, right? If you put the TMT next to the state capitol, it's almost twice as high as the state capitol.
I don't know if an outcome is going to be revealed today or not. It really doesn't matter at this point. It's just that we're here and we're going to go in and stand for the Mauna in the way that the Mauna would expect us to.
So TMT was, for the first time in the whole process, actually is represented by our own lawyer in a brief that we filed, a Friends of the Court, amicus curiae brief. TMT will not be doing an oral argument, but we have filed a brief this time.
We've moved now to where we have the opportunity for the 30-meter telescope. The 30-meter telescope is going to lead the entire planet in terms of following through on the legacy of the original Polynesian voyagers who used the stars and their knowledge of the stars to bring them across the seas to paradise. And now the 30-meter telescope, under the direction of higher education through the University of Hawaii at Hilo, is going to see to it that the entire universe now opens up for the spreading and acquiring of new knowledge of the heavens in our universe, because of the gift that paradise has given to the world with Mauna Kea.
TMT is one of the biggest destroying forces ever proposed for a sacred place.
So with the 30-meter telescope, we anticipate we can look all the way through the observable universe to the time when stars and galaxies first formed.
Yeah, Chair, there have been a number of legal questions brought up, and so I move that the board go into executive session pursuant to section 92-5A4.
There's various terms and sections of proposed sublease that are in violation of Hawaii revised statutes.
We say, no, we will not destroy. Yes, we do want to observe. Yes, we want to observe in the best way possible. And I hope that all of these people, all these astronomers, have every opportunity to do that. You know, every opportunity to observe and in ways that they should be, which right now they're not able to do, because right now they are all limited by the fact that corporations and the military are controlling, you know, those interests are controlling the science that they have dreamed about doing since they were children.
So what's coming up? They're gonna have a big, and October 7th, and groundbreaking on the mountain. Even though these things are in litigation, they're moving ahead. That we can't even comprehend, but I know maybe we just have to have enough Kanakas to shut the mountain down, not just the 7th, but the whole month of October or something. Who knows? And when Uncle Sole was in Waimea the last time we met 2 or 3 years ago, he asked you guys, I think, can you guys get the bail money to bail us out if we have to go to civil disobedience, which we don't want to go. But at a certain point, a Kanaka have to stand up, and enough is enough, and we're just trying to protect what's still left, what's still sacred.
I don't want to be 71 and still be standing up here. I'm 53, and this has been the most tumultuous and the most beautiful journey at the same time. And I wish that we were on the same side here. I wish that you were standing with us instead of nodding your head, if I get arrested, you'll bail me out. I asked that question right after Sole asked that question. And he lost hope the next meeting. And I had this much hope, and I still have a little bit left. And I want to have hope and faith that you're going to step up and you're going to step in, because this is not about us. This is about the Mauna, the only Mauna we have, Mauna Awa Kea, Mauna Kea.